On an ancient battlefield, the threats were obvious. You could see the arrows flying toward you and hear the cavalry charging. Today, the battlefield is quiet. It is a corporate boardroom, a Slack channel, or a dinner table. While the setting has changed, the underlying conflict remains. This map shows the vast borders of the Han Empire around 100 BCE, the setting for the historical epic Romance of the Three Kingdoms. While often read as a military chronicle, this text functions as a detailed manual for dark psychology and interpersonal manipulation. The strategic exploits warlords used to topple dynasties are still in use today. Toxic individuals employ these same mechanics to bypass our social defenses and exert control over our professional and personal lives. These manipulators ignore logic to focus on the three firewalls of the human mind: ego, empathy, and trust. By systematically targeting these vulnerabilities, they can influence behavior without the target realizing they are being steered. Understanding these ancient strategies provides a framework for identifying modern psychological warfare. Recognizing the tactic as it happens is the most effective way to neutralize the exploit before it causes lasting damage. The honey-coated sword describes a betrayal disguised as a gift. In the 3rd century, the warrior Lu Bu was an unmatched physical force, yet he was psychologically fragile. When a rival warlord offered him a legendary horse and relentless flattery, Lu Bu was so blinded by the validation that he murdered his own adopted father to secure the bribe. This is ingratiation. It is a psychological tactic where a person uses excessive praise to artificially inflate your ego. This inflation creates a sense of specialness that naturally lowers your critical thinking and defensive boundaries. In a modern office, this manifests as a coworker providing a sudden wave of intense compliments right before making an unreasonable request for help. The praise serves as a distraction from the burden they're about to place on you. Manipulators also use empty promises. Yuan Shao often agreed to the brilliant strategies of his advisors, providing immediate emotional validation by saying he would act. However, he consistently hesitated, losing his entire territory because his verbal commitments to his advisors never resulted in actual physical movement. Empty promises exploit the human need for agreement. The manipulator gains the benefits of your cooperation and goodwill by providing the feeling of a shared goal, without ever intending to contribute the actual effort required to achieve it. Defending against an ego hack requires detaching from verbal validation. By ignoring praise and focusing entirely on observable, consistent actions, you can see their actual intent. Empathy can be weaponized. The leader Liu Bei often used public displays of grief and tears to manufacture a sense of obligation in his allies. By appearing helpless or heartbroken, he forced others to yield resources or territory that they would never have surrendered to a direct threat. This is emotional blackmail, an offensive strategy where the manipulator plays the victim to extract concessions. They shift the burden of their distress onto you, making you feel responsible for their well-being and guilty for setting boundaries. The modern professional victim operates this way. Their life is a sequence of avoidable crises that require your constant emotional labor. They take your time and energy to solve their problems, but disappear when the dynamic requires them to give back. The cost of over-accommodating these individuals is high. Ruler Liu Zhang welcomed a manipulative guest into his home out of a sense of kindness, only to be slowly pushed out of his own empire. His empathy was treated as a structural weakness to be exploited. You can identify an empathy hacker by tracking your own exhaustion levels. If an interaction consistently leaves you feeling siphoned of energy, the relationship is parasitic, not collaborative. Extreme narcissists use reality distortion to avoid accountability. To keep their public image intact, they will rewrite history or fabricate events, ensuring that they are never seen as the cause of a failure. When his army began to starve, the warlord Cao Cao did not admit his logistical error. Instead, he blamed an innocent officer for stealing the grain and had him executed. By creating a scapegoat, he redirected the army's rage toward a victim, allowing himself to remain the hero of the camp. This occurs in the workplace when a manager approves a flawed plan but publicly blames a subordinate when the project fails. They use your career as a shield to protect their own reputation from the consequences of their decisions. Another tactic is triangulation, relaying conflicting information. Strategist Zhao Yu planted fake evidence so Cao Cao executed his own admirals. Today, a manipulator tells different stories to colleagues. This creates conflict, while the manipulator stays safely in the middle, controlling information to keep everyone divided. A person who brings you toxic gossip about others is almost certainly spreading gossip about you as well. Maintaining strict professional distance is the only consistently effective way to protect your reputation and your mental peace from this type of reality hacking. Identifying these behaviors changes how you perceive your office environment. The architects of drama become visible, and their tactics lose the power of surprise. The objective of learning these ancient exploits is to practice energy conservation. It is about identifying who is genuinely contributing to your life and who is merely trying to bypass your social firewalls for their own gain. This knowledge allows for a deliberate audit of your social circle. You can more accurately categorize who deserves deep trust, who should be kept at a polite distance, and who must be removed to maintain your stability. These historical strategies show that internal defense is as vital as any external achievement. By building a psychological fortress around your mental peace, you ensure that your energy remains under your own control.